Hello, and welcome back to Let's Play Dual Hearts, and welcome back to Chopins Dream. It's time for our second run-through. This is not the second run like a lot of the previous levels we've been putting up with. Chopins Dream does in fact have another extension completely separate to this part of the level. This is actually still part of the plot. In fact, it's almost identical to our first pass through the dream. We have largely the same objective as the sheep is explaining to us. Once again, there will be 3 sets of platforms and 3 bells containing 3 notes each. You have to pick up the 9 notes and return them to Chiffon, and then she can finally sing again. Not that we'll actually get to hear any of it that much during the game itself. Check it out, there are the do, re, mi platforms and the bells. The level also looks a lot prettier, and there are a few more places we can go this first time around, like this river, which used to be iced over. In general, the level doesn't play all that differently, considering it didn't have ice physics to begin with, but it's much more peaceful to sort of move around without the aurora filter doesn't show up as much as it used to, and the level isn't as sort of homogeneous. So I personally enjoy this run-through a little bit more than the first run-through, which is still on my short list of among the worst levels in the game. The flight pad is now covered by one of these obelisks that we can't interact with, so obviously there will be another trip back into the stream. And we'll show this fight for a reason that will become clear later. I'm starting to get the hang of the weird hit range and the hammer. It's much easier to deal with when you're only fighting one enemy at a time. Still don't know what that speech of Bumbles is, but killing that guy puts the hammer at level 3, which makes it infinitely more useful in combat, because now we can use it as the finisher to a combo move. And remember, the finishing move of the level 3 combo for most of the weapons is similar to the charge attack. Since the hammer is insanely powerful, we can use it as the finisher for a combo like that, and it just mauls enemies like crazy. It's absolutely absurd. We are now just an absolute death machine between the level 4 spear, doing so much damage, and the hammer to finish off enemies at the end of the combo. There are these cracks in the floor that we didn't see because they were iced over before. Most of them contain items. This one's a tummy up. Let's keep going. We've got these stairs now. I don't believe I think they were ramps before. Oh man, that's just an Essamon. It drives me crazy that we lock onto all these floating around Essamons, and the fact that we have the hammer means they're floating all over the place. It's very distracting. Seriously? I can slide down a stair? That's stupid. Anyway, more rings. We'll deal with the platforms later. The main objective of this level is actually the last thing I'm going to do, because there's quite a bit of exploration for us to take care of, including the extinction, as I said. So we'll do that first, and then we'll return to complete the main goal, which only takes about 3 to 4 minutes, or at least 3 or 4 minutes worth of video. Hey, check this out. The hover drops are back, but because we have access to the hammer and a charge attack, we barely even have to give them any second thought. We just kill them with a hammer. Again, since they're flying enemies, they also respond to both hits of the regular hammer charge attack, which smaller ground enemies generally aren't particularly susceptible to, which is a big help. I'm using the spear and the hammer right now, but really the sword and the hammer are probably the best combo of weapons I've seen in the game so far. Let's hit this, some dream energy. There's a fight spawning right up ahead that I believe I skipped. Yep, keep going. So yeah, the sword and the hammer I personally find to be the most useful combination of weapons, because the sword gives you a sweeping motion in front of you, and the hammer gives you an arcing motion above you, meaning you can choose one or the other depending upon which enemy is more aggressive at the time. Oh god, here's that stupid aurora filter all over again. I don't know who thought it was a good idea to obscure our vision so much in this game. Pick up this tummy up fragments and go kill the piano. The piano dies pretty quickly. I mean, it still gets a shot to our face in like it usually does, but it goes down pretty easily to some of the ridiculous attacks we have at our disposal right now. See, it's already dead from 1 spear plus hammer charge attack, and this guy goes down pretty quickly after that. A couple of these question mark boxes containing 5 golden rings. We're already at 28 for Chopins Dream. Not bad, considering we got 0 on our first run. This courtyard where Chiffon was the first time around is no longer just an icy plain, it actually is just a regular courtyard. That's a cracked wall that we'll have to explore later. There's Chiffon, we'll talk to her when we have all 9 of the notes. Pick up these rings around the tree. This place looks really quite pretty. Alright, that's enough of that, and let's go check out this cracked wall, come on. I haven't seen one of these in a while. We actually haven't gotten a lot of use out of our bomb, all things considered, except for refighting the snowman back in Sarti's Dream. Boom. In we go. Welcome to the second half of Chopins Dream. This place is actually extremely compact, with a cool, like, note musical background, very abstract. It's pure platforming goodness. I find this part much more enjoyable than the first part of the level, although I did a ridiculous amount of complaining the first time around, so that shouldn't be surprising to anybody. No, don't fall. Okay. Wow, that was really close. There's two switches here. This one switches back pretty quickly. You're supposed to go all the way around, but we can use Bumble to sort of float to the other side of this column, and there's another switch over here. This is a pretty standard role-playing game puzzle. Detonate the bomb, set the first switch, and hit the second switch as fast as you can, and that gives us a moving platform. We can use this to get to the center of the arena, but first, let's complete a full cycle, just to make sure we pick up all the rings that can be found. I think at least 60 or so of the rings are in this small area by themselves, including as well as the majority of the dream energy and at least half of the tummy up fragments. 0 gold decimals, which is kind of weird. There's a ball over here. We'll deal with that later. If you're familiar with these types of objectives in video games, you probably can tell what we're supposed to do, especially if you saw the goal as we were going around the other way. Get to the center platform, and here's a good old required combat encounter against 2 Night Slayers. These guys are not threatening at all at this point, although I do take a lot of damage out of sheer stupidity. But you know what else is new? Get the hammer back, my new favorite weapon, now that I finally sort of know how to use it, as opposed to flailing around like I had been during the first couple levels to get access to it. Really, both the versions of the combo that we can use at our disposal right now are pretty useful. I think it takes one more combo attack than usual because the hammer is not level 4 yet, meaning the spear and the sword are still a little bit stronger than it, but still. No real challenge there. Anyway, what's next? We got 5 switches. This is another video game puzzle staple. Hit 1 and the 2 next to it. Change positions. Realistically, I should know how to solve these because they've showed up so many times in video games. You're supposed to do it in a star pattern, or at least I believe that works. Hit each switch once. But I guess I forgot when I was doing this the first time, so I just went with raw trial and error until I eventually puzzled it out. It doesn't take that long, all things considered. Alright, 2 more. Come on, I know you can do it. There we go. Way to go. You win the prize. The prize is access to the 2nd floor. Let's go check that out. But first, let's go hang out and get back to that ball. This place is like an amusement park of platforming staples. This actually has the potential to be pretty frustrating. It doubled up the speed just to keep things moving along and keep the video under 17 minutes. Really, you would think this would drive me crazy, but apparently I got really lucky in terms of being able to keep the camera behind me and not having to worry too much about the ball falling off. It's actually possible. I believe if the ball falls off, it just respawns at the start. If you fall off, the ball stays where it is, so it's actually possible to jump off the side and nudge the ball back to the center of the path in case it gets too close to the edge. Getting to the end gets you a piece of dream energy, no big surprise there, and now we can take this platform to the 2nd floor and see what awaits us on any minute now. Play some elevator music while I wait for it to come down. Nice peaceful music for pretty hectic platforming, all things considered, by the standards of this game. Nope, that doesn't do anything. Hit this switch, and this is a nice variation on the platforming puzzle we've seen several times in the level so far. Obviously, you have to hit the notes in the same order we have been over the course of this entire game, or I should say this entire world. So, but making the jumps back and forth is cute. I don't know, I like it. Oh, there we go. 2 pieces of dream energy and a tummy up fragment for making it to the top. That's an awfully nice reward, pretty generous for this game. There's some rings all around in those bushes. It took me a while to actually notice they were there. I just wanted to get my orientation for a bit. There's a piece of dream energy in the column. I think that's what we'll go do first, but okay, there we go. I finally noticed there are rings. Go pick all those up. Don't want to miss any, especially since these are so hard to see and this level is so big. Or so complicated, rather. Let's go pick this up. Nice and easy. I believe that's our 3rd piece for this area, and there's at least 2 more waiting for us. Let's get this one now. This one could have potentially driven me actually insane, but thankfully I got both of these on the first try. Oh god, that was incredibly close. 69. 1 more left on the other side. Oh god. I don't know, I guess I'm just not patient enough. Same problem as in Yuri's room, where I just fling myself off platforms completely at leisure. Comes back to bite me every once in a while. I guess I was too scared to do that the first time. I wanted to pick up the rest of the rings so I didn't have to climb all the way back up here. bunch of rings around here. Pretty easy on Bumble to stay in between the 3 rotating spiked balls. What does this do? Nothing yet. That's actually a shortcut back down to the entrance below us. Of course, we could just jump down. Go kill these guys. 3 jellies! The blue one is just as easy and stupid as it always is. The black one is the ridiculously durable one. Hitting the switch activates the shortcut platform, nothing new. We don't really need it. I mean, we're not going to be returning up here once we get the last piece of dream energy on the other side of those floating platforms. But you know, might as well have it. Kill this guy. It goes down in 1 combo now that we have all these powerful weapons at our disposal. Go, go, go! Oh man, that worked out for the best. Part of the problem with these particular floating platform challenges in this level is that some of the platforms move identically in relation to each other, meaning it's really difficult to figure out how to make the required jumps. Anyway, back here again, there's something I forgot to do the first time around. If you place an explosive on the switch and then detonate it, when the platforms reset, they'll bring you right to a Tamiat fragment. Nice. I believe that's every item we can get here. So, let's say goodbye to the extension of Chopins Dream and go back to the main dream, and actually complete what we came here to do in the first place, and restore her ability to sing somehow. It's too bad this couldn't be solved the same way as like Yuri's Dream or Sansa's Dream, where we can just find something that we can bring out into the real world. That's such a useful ability, and this game doesn't really, you know, explore it to its real potential. Back to the courtyard. There's a few more rings we can pick up before we get going on the real platforming. The Do, Re, Mi, blah, blah, blah. Platforms still exist out here too, and they move like the Dream Energy platforming challenges in the Dream extension, making it a little bit more difficult than the static platforms that we had to deal with in our first run. It's a nice, like, next level difficulty sort of evolution of this stage. Although it is kind of odd that they made us do one right after the other, considering that the basic layout of the level and the objective is so similar. I mean, the layout of this level doesn't change at all when you come back. We just remove the ice and this wall shows up. And that's all that. Let's go find some of the platforms. The first one, much like the first one in our first run for the dream, is abbreviated and only goes up to Fa on the scale. So let's go pick that up, and the platforms only move up and down, which means it's pretty simple just to wait for them to come within jumping distance of each other. Bumble's jump has way more height than I ever really expected it to. Especially considering the camera angle we usually get for these, which is from above, so it's kind of hard to see how high you can actually jump and how close you are to actually hitting the edge of the platform instead of jumping on it. Anyway, holy instruments are, as previously prescribed, charge attack from the arbalest, and the snake fang to pick up the notes. There are 3 rings we can pick up when the bell goes away. But the first time I did this, the game actually glitched. The bell is supposed to disappear after I pick up the notes, and it didn't. So I actually had to restart the level just to get that to happen. This is kind of odd. Notice we've gotten all the way to 80% completion, just from picking up collectibles in the extension, and the few things in the cracked floor. Now the bell is gone. I picked up those 3 rings later, not on camera, just suffice it to say, that we're only missing those 9 rings from the 3 bells. And I definitely did get them before I left. Yeah, see, this Ray and Me platform move side by side at the same rate. So if you don't notice they're moving, it's really easy to jump while they're moving to the right and just miss the Me platform as it moves away from you. This T platform has the same problem. It's pretty high up and moves left to right along with the La platform. Let's go get the last one now that we're right there. There's a gold Esmon there that I do not pick up because I went for the rings instead, since we actually can get all 100 of those. The gold Esmons, 4 of them are in this half of the level, 3 of them are in the air, and we do not have access to the flight pad yet. This is one of the 3, the only one we can reach right now. And I didn't really feel like getting all the way back here and completing that platform challenge again, where we're going to have to go through the sky to get the remainder of the gold Esmons anyway. So, if you're keeping track of the count, we left that one alone. It's 2, this third one is pretty hard from the start, the Do, a deer. We have to wait for it to come into range in the first place to even jump on it. There's Ray, Golden Sun, Me and Aim, blah blah blah. Fa, oh god. Anytime they start moving away right as I'm about to land on them, it freaks me out, even now that I'm watching it in post-commentary. Another risky jump. I'm getting used to seeing the faint shadows on the platforms, as opposed to the really dark shadow on the ground, so the level getting a little easier to deal with. Oh, there we go. Okay, as long as I don't fall off of this one. Spoiler alert, I do not stupidly fall off of any of the Go platforms after making it to the end. Not even in footage I cut out. I'm proud of myself. 7, 8, 9 notes. Pick up those rings to complete the ring collection for this level, and we will head back to Chiffon and hopefully restore her ability to sing. Part of what makes me feel like this portion of the level was an afterthought is that there's no cutscene for doing anything, including actually returning the notes to Chiffon in the first place. Let's go check that out. There she is in the corner of her little courtyard. He's so humble. Not really. That's true, it's a really soothing atmosphere, all things considered, with nice, pleasant music. I like this part of the level. Alright, we're giving her the notes. She can sing again, maybe. It would be cool to take those out of the dream world and see, just have like notes floating around. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Alright, we get a prize, a gold decimon, nice reward for completing a mandatory objective. That's all we had to do here, so now that we've completed that, we will leave Chopins Dream and continue with the story on the next episode of Let's Play Dual Hearts.